What's up, family and friends? I know it has been such a long time since I posted a video, but that's all right. I always have the intent on doing new videos, but listen, life be lifing, work be working, and I never have enough time to do all of what I say I'm going to do. But I feel like now is a great time to do a video. It's really coming from a place of wanting to encourage people. I know so many times we deal with a lot of things, and depending on the type of situations that we're going through, circumstances or whatever, a lot of it can be very, 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 very discouraging. And with the discouragement, a lot of times it causes us to count God out of our life, or we count God out of our situations, and we think because we're going through this negative stuff that God must have forgotten about us, or we're being punished or whatever. But that's not always the case. So a lot of times we live in this moment of discouragement and we forget all about God, right? So I'm here to share just a little piece of a testimony, and this is something that I know I do not do enough of, right? I do not talk about what God is doing. I don't talk about the way that he has blessed me, or the prayers that he has answered, or how he's just worked out a situation. I know I don't do it enough, and I definitely don't do it enough publicly. I may do it privately, but I don't do it enough publicly because I'm very private and I don't like talking about my personal stuff or whatever. But when God is in the midst of something, it is something that should be shared, especially if you know without a shadow of a doubt that it is something that God worked out for you. God turned in your favor. God worked out all the kinks, and he made this possible for you. So I just want to share this little piece or whatever. I may take this down, but I'm going to share it anyway. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that it encourages somebody to hang in there. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep pressing. Whatever you're facing, just know that God is in control, and sooner or later he is going to turn this around in your favor, whatever it is you may be dealing with. So really quick, a couple of months ago, maybe like early October, I was sitting and talking to my pastor, who also happens to be my other mother, who happens to be my children's grandmother. So if you know who I'm talking about. We were just sitting and randomly just talking, and she was encouraging or whatever. And out of nowhere, she says to me that God is about to change your life. Well, I got worried because I don't know what that means when it's coming from her and the way that she said it. I'm like, Lord, am I supposed to be bracing myself for some craziness, or what's about to happen? And it's sad to think that way, but when you've experienced a lot of negativity, a lot of just unfair things, when somebody says that, you really don't know, okay, what does that mean? So I think she saw the look on my face like, really? What? But then she says, God is about to do something for you, right? So, mostly when pastors, and this is funny because this happens in our culture a lot, when pastors tell people that God is about to do something for you, we normally think on, oh, I'm about to get my man, I'm about to get this. But it's not always that. It's not always even something material. It can be a spiritual blessing. It can be a gift. But sometimes that's where we go. And weeks before that, she had told me, she said, I just want to see you happy, right? So then she came and said this. So I was like, okay, so it must be this season. Okay, I'm about to get my man, right? So she says, no, God is about to do something for you, right? So I was like, okay. So I've been like worried, like, what is coming? I don't know which way to look. I don't know how to prepare. But if I need to be bracing for something, Lord, please prepare me for whatever I need to brace for. So that was early October. Late October, I got a call. My friend told me that some of my mail had came to my old house, right? And the letter, or the mail was from my student loan people. So I was like, well, I haven't lived in the house in almost 10 years. Why is my mail going out there? And I've been getting the mail where I currently live. So why is it going out there? So she jokingly says, well, I don't know. Maybe it's the letter that says your loans are forgiven. So I'm in my head, I'm excited, and I'm like, oh my God, this must be what what she had prophesied to me. This must be what she was talking about. So I rush out there and get that letter, right? And I opened it, y'all. It was not that letter. It was the letter telling me that my loans had started back and I was already late on the first payment, right? I was like 2 weeks late. And then the November payment was getting ready to come. So I rushed. I made the payment for October. And then about 2 weeks later, I logged on to make the November payment, right? So I made the payment. About a week later, I get an email that says my loans have been forgiven. So I'm just ecstatic. I'm thrilled. Like, Lord, do you know how long I've been applying for loan forgiveness? This is year 14, going into 15 for me for education. Like, I have been in this process for the longest trying to get these loans forgiven. And I'm not talking about like $10,000. It was like $70,000 in my student loans, right? Because I have a master's degree. So I'm all excited and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, finally something good is happening. Lord, I thank you. I thank God. I praise him. I cried because that's a huge relief, y'all. That is such a big relief for your student loans to be forgiven. That is huge. I didn't think nothing of it. That, you know, I lived in that moment and I thank God for the loans being forgiven. And I just thought, okay, God, I'm good with that. If that's what you was talking about, then I'm good. Okay? That was November. So I've also been in this first time home buyers program for the last almost 5 years. I've been in it since 2021 during the COVID time. So I've been in this home buying process with a company, and it just looked like I wasn't getting nowhere. I got counselors and that come with the program. I did everything they asked me to do. It's like I gave them every piece of document. I gave them, almost felt like I gave them my blood type. They wanted so much information. I stayed up to date on everything they asked for me. So 5 years into the program, y'all, I went through 3 counselors. You have to go through a qualification process also. And when you get qualified, that means you have met all of their terms and conditions. You have your credit score here. You have whatever they're asking you to save in your bank account. You haven't opened no new lines of credit. You pay on time for all of your stuff. All your documentation is in place. Everything was there, right? So when I first was in it and I got a new counselor, the first counselor, she kind of went like ghost. I don't know where that lady went to this day. She kind of like went MIA. So I got discouraged. So I stopped working on the program and I was like, this is not for me. So I was content where I was. I didn't think nothing of it. And so I started back in the program again. I said, okay, let me give this another try. I got assigned another counselor. So this was counselor number 2. Real young guy. And he just sounded like, oh, we in it. I got you. We gonna get you in that house or whatever. About a week went by. Didn't hear nothing from the guy. Like ghosted. So I'm emailing. Don't hear nothing. Finally, somebody contacted me and was like, oh, he doesn't work here anymore. Okay, so I'm getting discouraged. I get a 3rd counselor, right? This guy, he sound, oh, yeah, we got this. So he built him a confidence back up. And I was like, okay, this it. And when I got to the qualification process again, I asked for an in-house realtor. And I got a phenomenal realtor. So I'm in the process. She's setting up some house tours for me to go and look at all of these different houses. Went to so many houses. I think about 12 or 13 houses. I kept getting no, that's too much. We don't want you to go over this amount for your mortgage, and which is great for me because I didn't want no sky high mortgage. And with the program, they make sure they keep you in line with what you can afford, which is beautiful. So I just kept getting no with the HOA fees. That's gonna put you over your amount, and so we won't approve you for this house. So it was very discouraging. So I finally found another property. It was a brand new build, and I went out. I just knew everything was a go. We talked to the guy there, the building rep or whatever. He shows us the house. And so he tells us what all I have to do. I go and do it. He says, well, you need this amount to start this process. Great. I got that amount. No problem. We do the amount. And then the lender was kind of shaky, y'all. He kept changing the amounts of what I needed to close with. So my realtor was like, if I was you, I wouldn't proceed because that seemed kind of iffy and kind of shaky. So I wouldn't proceed if I was you. I said, okay. So discouragement setting in again. But that's the tricky part with the devil too. Like when discouragement, when you keep getting the no's, you just think, well, God's not in and God not working. Don't let the devil trip you up like that, because sometimes you're going to get a bunch of no's before you get a yes. So that was December 2nd when I applied for that house that I just knew I was going to get, or whatever, nice house. And that was a no. So my realtor went back to the drawing board. She kept asking me, where's this in comparison to where you live? How far is this? How far is this? And so December 9th, I kid you not, December 9th, she said, check out this builder. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. I put in an address and I saw that it wasn't too far from me. It's a little distance, but it's not like really, really far. So I put it in and she gave me the information so I can go see the house. Now she's located somewhere else, so I went to go see the house by myself. So I go and I was like, oh, I like this house. I really do. So I go and I tour it, and then I get back with her. Hey, I like this house. What do I need to do? I go through the application process. This was December 9th. I submitted my first application, well, the application on December 9th. December 10th, I had got an approval notice, right? Now, I ain't never bought a house. I'm 45 years old. I've never owned my own home. I've rented since I was the age of 19 when I first got my first apartment. The only house that I've lived in was not my house, but we lived in it for 10 years. But this is my first time. So I didn't know how this process was going to go, but I have heard horror stories of how the home buying process can go and how discouraging it could be, and the loopholes and the all the things you got to jump through. So I was like, Lord, I don't know anything about this process. So I kept asking different ones that have had, homes or they own homes, like, different questions. But the next day, I believe, December 10th, I got an approval. And I was like, okay. So they was like, go to this portal. It was the loan company's portal, and upload ABCD. I went and uploaded it. Later that day, I got the conditional. Did underwriting come first? I think underwriting may have, I don't know. One of them came first. I know I only went through underwriting in like 2 days, and I thought underwriting was supposed to be a little bit longer. Then they gave me the conditional review. Hey, you got to have all of these items done by December 18th, right? I had all of the items done by December 18th. Mind you, I just got the approval December 10th. December 19th, I had an estimated closing date. So I'm like, wait a minute. This is moving really fast. So I made a phone call again. Hey, is this process supposed to go this fast? And everybody that asked, they was like, that's really fast. But hey, when God is in something, God is in something. I got that estimated closing day. I had been praying about this whole process. Lord, whatever door you open for me, allow me to recognize it as a door that you're opening. Help me walk through it. Help me receive whatever you're doing in this season for me. Whatever's for me, Lord, help me trust that this is what you're doing for me. I was praying, and the Lord laid on my heart that December 26th would be a new day. It would be different. Now, if any of you have followed anything on my social media, you know December 26th is a very monumental day in my life. It is the day that my mother passed away. It is one of the most saddest days that I deal with every year. So when I prayed that morning and the Lord said December 26th was going to be a new day, and actually, that was the morning of the prayer. I didn't open my email till later that afternoon when I saw the estimated closing date was December 26th. I called. It was just wild that paper said December 26th. But I already knew something was happening December 26th, because that morning in prayer, the Lord had already laid it on my heart that December 26th would be new. It would be different. I didn't know it was all aligned with this housing process. Right now, the closing date, when I finally did all my documentation and I got my closing information, December 26th actually ended up being the first walkthrough through the house with the builder. which was still monumental because the Lord had already said December 26th would be new. It would be different. So although the closing didn't happen on December 26th, the walkthrough happened, which was something new, something different for me. And it allowed me to take my focus off of the fact of what that day really signifies in my life. It was a day that I was very happy. I did think on my mom, but it didn't cause me to be real sad or depressed or just crying. Now, I cried, but it was tears of joy. It wasn't my normal December 26th. If you've ever been around me December 26th, you know it's a day for me. I try my best to be upbeat because it's the day after Christmas or whatever. But this year, December 26th, was completely different for me. It was a very exciting time. I'm walking through a home that is about to be mine. And it's just a different experience that I just never thought that I would be able to do. Or I know growing up, when we planning out our lives, we think, oh, when I get older, I'm gonna buy my house with my husband. Well, I don't got one. So all of this I'm doing as a single woman. And I know God is in the midst of it. So December 26th was new. It was different. My closing date was December 30th. So from the time I started this application to the closing date was a little over 2.5 weeks. When they was preparing me originally for like a 45-day process. Now you tell me now God ain't in the midst of this. The last 45 days since the day that my mom told me about this, whatever God was about to do, since she told me that, and the day that I closed was a little over 45 days. I don't know what other emotion to express this in other than you don't ever count God out of a situation. It don't matter what it look like. It may go against every belief or every method you may have thought. Do not ever count God out of anything. What seems impossible, God can and he will come and turn that thing in your favor. You could not have told me that I was going to be able to do this. You couldn't have told me. That's why I know that God did this. God did this. And like I said, I don't share enough on what God has done or what he does in my life. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't always do it. And I think this is something God has really, really worked on in me over the last couple of months, because it is a mindset, and it's not a good mindset to have, especially as a son of God. I don't share a lot, because especially when things are going good, because when you've dealt with so much craziness or just negative stuff, and it probably is nothing different than what other people have dealt with, but for my life, I'm gonna say, when you've dealt with a lot of extra stuff, you tend to put yourself in this spot or this position when things are going good for you. You tend to not share it, because for me, I moved to a place of being afraid. If I share what's going good in my life, the moment is going to be short-lived, or somebody is going to take this moment away from me. So it caused me to not say anything. Like when my student loans was forgiven, I didn't tell anybody. People are just now hearing it when I'm sharing the testimony about this house and how this house came about. I'm just now sharing that testimony with them about how God moved inside of the student loans and forgave them. But it put me in a box to where I'm already private, but it made me feel like, well, I can't share this because somebody's going to take this moment from me. And it's like God has reminded me that anything that he gives, anything that God orchestrates, anything God blesses you with, whether it's material, whether it's a gift, whether it's, I don't know, a blessing you didn't think you could have, whatever God gives you, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody. And God has been faithful in this season to really drive that in me. What he gives, nobody can take away. God is restoring that in me, that whatever he blesses, you with, nobody can take that away from you. You have to trust with everything in you that what God has for you, God has for you. So I'm just really wanting to encourage somebody out there that's maybe losing a little hope, losing a little faith. God ain't forgot about you. And I know that's kind of ghetto what I just said. God ain't forgot, but God has not forgotten about you. He may not move, and I always say this on my videos, he don't move when you want him to. He may be looking like he's late, but I'm telling you, he's always right on time. Do not give up. Do not lose hope. And whatever you do, do not stop praying for whatever it is you're praying for, because God is going to respond, maybe in a way you may not be ready for, and he may respond through a person you may not be hoping or thinking it would come through, but God is going to respond one way or the other. Don't lose hope. Stay true to who you are, and just trust that God got you. God got you. This has been a tough journey these last 10 years with me and my kids, basically, you know, starting over back in 2016, just changing, you know, how we had been living and just starting over. And this journey has been rough. So for me to say I now own a house, that's like surreal. I don't know. I don't have the words for what the feeling really is, but I know it is something that God did, and God did it for me. And like I said, I reflect back on what my kids' grandmother, who I call my mom, if you hear me refer, I know y'all be like, what, did you say your mom and dad? My mom, my biological mother is deceased, but God blessed me with another one. When she told me that about she want to see me happy, and God is about to do something for me, or he's going to turn my life around, however she put it. When I think on it, like I said, we automatically think it's most women gonna think that, well, most people may think, especially if you're single, you're gonna think it's this or it's that, or it's this man or this woman, whatever. But this here, I know that God did this for me, to make a statement to me, to prove to me, not that he has to prove anything to me, but to remind me that he has not forgotten, and he's still very much mindful of me. So that's my testimony. I hope that y'all are just as excited for me as I am. And if you're not, I'm going to pray for you and pray that God bless you in a way that you'll know he did it for you too. So be encouraged. Don't lose hope. And I'll be back soon with another video. Oh, and I'll be sharing my housewarming list or thing that people keep asking me for. See, I ain't never had one of those. Actually, I did a long time ago. But it was my wedding registry. But I do have a housewarming list that I'm going to share. And if it's on your heart to purchase anything, feel free to purchase and bless me and my new house. And I am going to do a housewarming. I just don't know when, because it's cold up here and I want to be able to do something outside too. But stay tuned. More is coming. Y'all be blessed. Wish me luck. Keep me in prayer. Don't be praying nothing crazy over me. Pray that God continue to have his way in my life, and that this year be the best year that I've ever had. Y'all be blessed.